Part 89. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 881. What's so sad about the energy of the infinite gems? The King of Song and the King of Zhao have spent so much effort, just for this. Is Xiao Ming being hypocritical? Of course not. The actual situation is like this. The King of Song and the King of Zhao are reincarnations, and they follow the path set by the reincarnation space. Reincarnations cannot easily approach the infinite gems. Once they are allowed to approach, it is a strengthening process. Unlike the Guardians of the Galaxy, they are also tested by the infinite gems. But Xiao Ming's identity is different. His golden VIP status is equivalent to a plot character, so he is not prohibited from approaching the infinite gems by the space. But like the Guardians of the Galaxy, he will also be tested by the infinite gems. If it were just like this, it would not be worth being said. After all, Xiao Ming's foundation is so strong that he is not necessarily worse than Peter Quill, the Star-Lord. Such a test can still be endured. After enduring it, it will naturally be strengthened. This is still a good thing to celebrate. The real trouble is that Huang Xiaoming is still under Zhao Ang's nose at this moment. At the last moment of the plot, can people not keep an eye on Xiaoming? Once it is revealed that he is receiving the energy of the Infinity Stone, even if Xiaoming is full of mouths, he can't explain this matter clearly. At the critical moment, Xiaoming had an idea and introduced this energy into Kunlun. Guangmingding is not qualified to share this energy. In this way, Xiaoming did not use his own body to bear the invasion of energy. Under Zhao Ang's surveillance, he would not reveal any flaws. Unfortunately, the strengthening was naturally ruined. Xiaoming also thought about not using Huang Xiaoming's body, but only using green Xiaoming and silver Xiaoming's bodies to bear the energy. But Xiaoming can't do such fine control at present. In addition, green Xiaoming's energy exceeded the standard in the world of Star Legend and could not be transmitted. Silver Xiaoming was at the critical moment of developing his ability, and being disturbed by this energy would be more trouble than gain. Anyway, his three bodies are not weak, and there are devil fruits to strengthen them. It's better to give this energy of the Infinity Stone to Kunlun. Kunlun's foundation is n times stronger than Xiaoming's body. The power of the Infinity Stones only wandered around in Kunlun for a while before it surrendered. It's not quite right to say that it surrendered. It should be said that Kunlun is full of high-quality energy, which makes it feel very comfortable, so it quickly integrated into this big family. It is precisely because this energy surrendered quickly that several people who also bear energy in the outside world also took advantage of it. The gentle energy began to strengthen several people like a rebirth. The two reincarnations really picked up a treasure. Originally, they should have fought for a while, and after the Guardians of the Galaxy tamed the energy, they could enjoy the dividends. As a result, Xiaoming surrendered this energy early, and they received the strengthening time longer. Even if a large part of the energy was diverted by Xiaoming, their strengthening effect is still much better than normal. Both of them were strengthened to the B-level physical strength. As long as they are familiar with the energy in their bodies, they will soon have the strength of B-level. And the road ahead is open, as long as they work hard. A-level can be reached steadily. S-level is not without hope. It is even more difficult for Kunlun to get the big head. The volume has expanded more than 10 times, reaching 8,000 cubic meters. Unfortunately, it is still far from enough to accommodate a sky carrier. As for Ronan, Peter Quill used the power of the power gem and killed him in one move. Soon after, the power of the Infinity Gems ended. In the original plot, the Predators led by Yondu came to rob the Infinity Gems, and Peter gave him a fake one to trick him away. But in this life, Yondu didn't dare to step forward at all. There are still many reincarnations guarding around, and they didn't dare to step forward to cause trouble. After accepting the thanks from Xandar, the Predators withdrew. The Guardians of the Galaxy handed the power gem to Xandar for custody. They ran to the universe to do justice. Peter swears that making money is just a byproduct. The main purpose is definitely to do justice. In addition, there is good news that Groot, the tree man, did not die completely. One of his small branches was reborn and became a small tree man, which is very cute. The mission was successfully completed, and most of the reincarnations retired. Only privileged people like Zhao Ang stayed. The world returned to peace, and Xiao Ming's restrictions were lifted. The two Zhao royal families did not expect Zhang Xiaoming to have the ability to stay in a world for a long time. Anyway, the main storyline has ended, and they thought that Xiaoming should leave the world automatically in a short time. There is no need to restrict him anymore. Before that, Lin Yuuru applied for Li Xiaoao to go play with her again. This time she was even more capable. She didn't want to play on Earth, and dragged Li Xiaoao's clone to adventure on the alien planet. She didn't have a spaceship available, and even if she had one, she probably wouldn't drive it. How to travel to the alien planet? Of course, she had to trouble Zhao Ang to use the portal. Poor Lord Zhao Ang, such a powerful S-level master, has become a role similar to a driver. There is no master or master at all, there are daughter slaves everywhere. Master, Xiaohong, and I want to go to the outer space to play, please help us open the door. The human-shaped Xiaolu and Xiaohong stood in front of Xiaoming's clone, smiling like flowers. Xiaoming, who was laughing at Zhao Ang in his heart, was very upset. This slap in the face came too fast, like a tornado, catching people off guard. The tree demon Xiaolu's body has taken root in Guangmingding and can't get out at all. Xiaolu is a homebody by nature and doesn't like to go out. But the female ghost Xiaohong is different. She has a lively personality and is still willing to go out and play. And she also hopes that her best friend Xiaolu can go out with her. It's so boring to go shopping alone. Feeling her best friend's thoughts, Xiaolu secretly told Xiaoming about this matter. Xiaoming thought this matter was simple, wouldn't it be fine to use shadow clones? So he planted chakra seeds in Xiaolu. He taught her the corresponding ninjutsu. However, Xiaolu couldn't master the shadow clone technique. She was really a wooden head. Oh, by the way, the tree demon is not a wooden head. She has the best relationship with Kurama, so naturally she asked Kurama for help. So Xiaoming also planted chakra seeds in Kurama and taught him ninjutsu. He was responsible for finding a solution. Anyway, Xiaoming didn't retreat. Kurama is very talented, and soon he developed a wood-style ninjutsu, wood clone technique. Both he and Xiaolu can use it. All the perceptions of the wood clones can be shared with the original body. Xiaolu can maintain the existence of up to 7 or 8 wood clones at the same time. This really suits Xiaohong's heart. She drags Xiaolu's clones out all day long. Recently, seeing Lin Yuuru go to an alien planet to play, the two of them followed suit and came to ask Xiaoming to open a portal for them. Alas, there is no way. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 882. In order to spend more time with Lin Yuuru, Xiaoming stayed in the world of Guardians of the Galaxy for more than 3 months despite Zhao Ang's fierce gaze. Finally, Zhao Ang found Xiaoming and confronted him, saying that you kid should not delay my daughter from practicing. Xiaoming then evacuated this world. Xiaoming did not intend to do anything to Lin Yuuru, but he had not seen her for a long time. Now the opportunity is rare, and he wants to spend more time with her. But Zhao Ang did not trust Xiaoming. He was like all fathers-in-law protecting their daughters, and felt that he had seen through Xiaoming's tricks a long time ago. You kid must have bad intentions. You are still refusing to leave even though there is nothing to do. Don't you want to kidnap my daughter? No way. In desperation, Xiaoming had to leave. Thinking in his heart, how is this different from what is written in the novel? Shouldn't he throw a check in his face and say, "Take this 5 million, and don't bother my apprentice anymore"? Why didn't he play by the rules? Forget it, Yan Xiaoming's retreat has yielded results. Let's go. Xiaoming had mastered many mutant superpowers before, but the power was too small, almost equivalent to nothing. Yan Xiaoming's research project is how to use superpowers more effectively. He has been focusing on the ability to read, hoping to achieve his goal with the help of oaths and constraints. However, he has never been able to get in. It seems that some conditions are not gathered, or the accumulation is not enough. Anyway, he can't succeed. Later, it was Green Xiaoming who solved this problem. For a long time, the two major families of King Song and King Zhao have seen Huang Xiaoming. Yan Xiaoming's existence is a secret. Although Master Guyi knew it a long time ago, she is a principled person. She will not reveal other people's cards at will. Yan Xiaoming has always been very careful and almost never ran out. Later, he has been in retreat to study the topic. It should, probably, and may not be discovered. So now it is Green Xiaoming who is suitable to go out for a stroll. As long as he shows his true form as the Insect King, almost no one will associate the Insect King with Xiaoming. After the contract ended the constraints on Xiaoming, Xiaoming waited patiently for a while until all the reincarnationists left. Only then did he start the backup plan. Do you remember the 6 shadow clones imprisoned on the Dark Star? During the decisive battle, Xiaoming secretly hid the prison where the 6 shadow clones were imprisoned. It was hidden deep underground on the Xandar star. These 6 shadow clones were unknown to the reincarnationists. The space of the prison was closed and they also escaped the restrictions of the contract. After everything was calm, Xiaoming let them break out of the prison. As a coordinate, let Green Xiaoming leave the Star Legend world and travel directly here. After that, the shadow clone was cancelled, and Green Xiaoming appeared outside as his real body. Maybe it was not necessary to do it so tortuously. Maybe the two major families of King Song and King Zhao did not continue to monitor him at all. But Xiaoming felt that he should be more careful when facing the families of the 12 kings of Dakan. Zhaoang is the guardian of the magic temple. Who knows how much he can see? Who knows how much other S-level reincarnations can see? It is still too dangerous to let Green Xiaoming appear on Earth. It is best for the Insect King not to have any contact with the Earth. At the same time, it is best not to use any power familiar to reincarnations. Although the appearance of the Insect King is strange, it can only be regarded as an ordinary strangeness on Xandar. After all, even tree people and raccoons have appeared here, and an insect man is not very outstanding. For a while, Green Xiaoming was determined to find the power gem. Unfortunately, he couldn't find it no matter how hard he looked. He was almost discovered by someone. As expected of an advanced cosmic civilization, its strength is indeed extraordinary. It seems that the power gem is out of the question. Xiaoming suddenly remembered the Nohir of the unknown land. There is the head of the ancient god. If you can get some bones, brain marrow, etc., wouldn't you be rich? Xiaoming did it right away. He didn't dare to use Zhang Ren, because the reincarnations might recognize his image. So he bought a commercial spacecraft and hired a group of more reliable people to go to the unknown land. In order to prevent being discovered, he did not dare to use his shadow clone to drive the spaceship. His cautious behavior was not groundless. He really escaped a disaster. In view of the good plot of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Song and Zhao have decided to continue to develop the plot of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Now it is in the gap between the two plots. Except for a few S-level reincarnations with privileges, normal reincarnations will not appear in this time period. So the previous batch of people have retired, and the next batch of reincarnations has not yet come in. Now these S-level reincarnations are waiting for the start of the next main plot, and then they will pull another wave of their own people in to do the task. Only the two reincarnations who have been strengthened by the power gem need to enter the next plot. So the two of them were locked up somewhere by the two families using their authority. Concentrate on getting familiar with the enhanced body and energy. This is also a good opportunity. For such a big thing, these S-level reincarnations are naturally cautious. So later Zhaoang was impatient to drive Xiaoming away. If Lu Xiaoming had not been so careful when he was acting and had used ninjutsu such as Shadow Clone, he would have been discovered by the two families. It is really hard to say what would happen then. Now, although the S-level reincarnations who stayed on Xandar Star saw the Insect King, they did not connect him with Xiaoming. Just pass it after seeing it. After arriving at the land of no knowledge, Green Xiaoming arranged for the hired men to guard the spaceship, and he went to explore the interior alone. To be honest, the image of the Insect King is still very deterrent. Even though there are desperate criminals here, no one dares to provoke him. In order to avoid trouble, Xiaoming also carried several powerful guns on his body. It is not easy to provoke at first glance. After some effort, Xiaoming found the collector. The house where he was bombed has now been repaired. The maid has also been replaced with a new one. Seeing the appearance of the Insect King, the collector's old problem came back. What race are you? I can't recognize it. I am willing to pay for your body. Seeing that the Insect King's face was not very good, he quickly added, please don't misunderstand, of course, I will wait until you die. I hope to have the right to collect your body. I'm afraid I will disappoint you, this is not for sale. Xiaoming flatly rejected this buddy. Looking at the gleam in the collector's eyes, Xiaoming was worried that once he agreed, he would directly hire someone to kill him. Let's talk about other business. I'm sure you'll be interested in the things I have here. As he spoke, Xiaoming poured out a lot of things he had prepared before. They were all kinds of items that Xiaoming had collected from various worlds, and they were dazzling. The collector almost drooled. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 883. About 5 hours later, Xiaoming leisurely left the collector's shop. The collector followed him and asked him to come often in the future. Xiaoming's visit this time added countless species to his collection work. Although Xiaoming made it clear that these were species from another world, the collector was still enthusiastic. Or even more enthusiastic. There was no way, the world of the Marvel series was too big, no less than the world of Yu Yu Hakusho, or even more. It was a world where countless planes and countless parallel universes intertwined. If you tell people here that you are from other worlds, they will not feel abrupt at all. There are many people from other worlds, and one or two are not bad. Xiaoming does not need money, but just bartered with the collector for some good things he collected. These things were collected by the collector who had backups or thought he could still collect them. Some of them were plants, exchanged for Karama. And there were only 4 exchanged for Xiaoming himself. But they were all very awesome things. To be exact, there were 3 bodies, a Super Skrull, an Asgardian, and some kind of symbiote, Venom family. Plus a little bit of bones and brain of the god of no knowledge. Xiaoming also saw the bodies of the Frost Giant and the Fire Giant. It was a pity that they were reluctant to exchange them. Thinking that he already had the Magma and Frozen Devil Fruit, it was fine. In addition, he had already obtained the bodies of the Dark Elves and the Chitauri from S.H.I.E.L.D. There was no need to exchange them. In fact, the collector also had a very powerful thing, the Ether Particle, which is the Reality Stone. The collector attached great importance to this thing and kept it very secret, and did not intend to show it to anyone. Even Xiaoming did not find it. Green Xiaoming absorbed those bodies one by one. Among them, The body of the Super Skrull brought Xiaoming a huge surprise. The Skrull can transform into various creatures and copy each other's memories. And the Super Skrull is even more powerful. They can even copy each other's abilities. Nicknamed Copycat. Xiaoming guessed that such copying must be limited. It may fluctuate within a certain range of the Super Skrull's own ability. If it can be copied without limit, it would be nonsense. Let them copy a group of gods, wouldn't they be invincible? This is unlikely. After absorbing and fusing the corpse of the Super Skrull, Xiaoming's long-developed project has made a breakthrough. After a certain period of stabilization, Xiaoming's own special ability, Copycat, was formed. I really have to thank the collector. It seems that before absorbing the Skrull, Xiaoming was also good at imitation. This ability is really in tune with himself. In short, as long as it is a creature that Xiaoming has obtained DNA from, Xiaoming can transform into that creature or that person for a short time, and temporarily possess 100% of the other party's ability. It is no longer a little effect like before. And Xiaoming's original ability still exists and can be used at will. Now, Xiaoming can pretend to be any kind of bloodline limit, mutant, Asgardian, symbiote, dark elf, etc. According to Xiaoming's assessment, A-level masters should not be able to distinguish this kind of disguise. As for S-level, I don't know. Xiaoming doesn't know many S-level masters, so he can't judge what kind of state that is. Of course, Xiaoming's copycat ability still has many limitations. First of all, the transformation time cannot be too long, otherwise it will start to consume the DNA of the simulated target stored by Xiaoming. If it is consumed, it will not be able to transform into this person. Of course, if the NDA reserve is large enough, the appearance and ability of the other party can be permanently memorized. There is no need to consider the problem of consuming DNA. Currently, there is only one Asgardian sample, 4 Chitauri samples, 1 Dark Elf sample, and the symbiote that can be permanently solidified. Other mutants and ninjas with bloodline limits do not have enough DNA reserves. Xiaoming can only use their abilities occasionally. Secondly, there is a limitation on the volume of the simulated target. Assuming that the volume of Xiaoming's single body is 100. For someone else, the normal simulation range should be between 50 and 200. However, Xiaoming is in a special situation. He has 3 bodies, and he has mastered the ability of Yuppie to change his body at will. So the volume range of the target he can copy is between 30 and 400. If the 3 bodies work together, it can also simulate creatures with a volume of less than 1200, which is a giant. Therefore, this limitation has led to Xiaoming's absorption of a little bit of bones and brain marrow of the ancient gods, but he can only strengthen himself, and cannot simulate the ancient gods. In fact, it is not just a matter of volume. The gods are really not something that can be copied at will. The Asgardians are also called the Aesir. After Xiaoming absorbed one, he felt that there seemed to be nothing special. The taste is average. It's nothing more than a longer lifespan, better physique, higher magic affinity. Xiaoming's own attributes have long surpassed ordinary Aesir, and he already has these. Dark elves are also the same, slightly stronger than the Aesir. But this is probably an individual difference. After all, the last group of dark elves that attacked the earth were all elite warriors who had survived thousands of years ago. They were indeed more powerful than ordinary Aesir. The Chitauri are very ordinary. After absorbing, they can only be spies in the Marvel world, but they don't have much improvement. The most interesting thing is the symbiote. It is a strange creature without a fixed shape. The collector introduced that this creature is just an ordinary creature on its native planet. It can survive well there without possessing. Once it leaves its native planet, it has to find a host to coexist with. It relies on the host to provide nutrition to survive. In the process of symbiosis, it can give the host powerful strength and ability. And it can also learn the host's abilities and knowledge. Even after leaving, what it has learned can be retained. In other words, the more powerful hosts the symbiote possesses, the more abilities and knowledge the symbiote gains. It can become stronger and stronger. However, this symbiote will also be affected by the host's personality, especially the first host has the greatest influence on them. At the same time, their personality will also affect the host in turn. It is true that the closer you are to the redder you are. This symbiote was collected from the native planet by the collector at the request of the cosmic mercenaries. It has not possessed any creature yet. And now it is a corpse. Xiaoming just gained the ability to possess the symbiote. Xiaoming has never tried this kind of thing with others, so he is not very interested. But being able to gain the abilities and knowledge of others without hurting them is something that makes people yearn for. It's a bit tangled. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 884. Green Xiaoming didn't hesitate for long, and Zhaoang on Earth ordered Huang Xiaoming to leave. If you don't leave this world, I will deal with you. A good man doesn't suffer a loss in front of him. Xiaoming didn't stay here. He used the props to leave the world of Guardians of the Galaxy. This kind of separation is a complete separation. The three Xiaomings, carrying all their subordinates, hurriedly returned to the settlement space. Xiaoming believed that he had a great influence on the world of Star Trek and his performance in Guardians of the Galaxy was also good, especially breaking through the plot of Captain America 2. He thought that there should be a large amount of source energy in the account. However, there was no. Xiaoming asked Qingxinglu angrily. The answer he got was that Xiaoming had obtained a large part of the energy of the power gem, which offset the reward. If that's the case, then forget it. Just when Xiaoming expressed his resignation, Qingxinglu told him that there was a surprise in the raiding mall. Xiaoming went to see it quickly. Sure enough, in addition to the common items in the raiding mall, there was a new item, Random Invitation to the Immortal Cultivation World. The name is self-explanatory. It is a prop that allows reincarnationists to enter a random immortal cultivation world. Is it valuable? It is quite valuable. For so long, Xiaoming has only been lucky, or unlucky, to enter the immortal cultivation world once. That time he went to the journey to the West World, but was killed by Sun Wukong with a stick. Basically, he didn't gain anything. For reincarnationists, the immortal cultivation world is also full of dangers, but also full of temptations. There are high-level skills, opportunities, treasures. As long as you get the same good ones, you can make a leap. So no matter how dangerous the immortal cultivation world is, it is still the world that reincarnationists want to go to the most. At worst, you can die. With this mentality, thousands of reincarnationists have been rushing forward, sharpening their heads to get into the immortal cultivation world. Little do they know that the most special thing about the immortal cultivation world is that you may not be able to die if you want to. Most of the reincarnations basically die. There are always unlucky ones who are left there forever. However, every now and then, there will be one or two lucky people who appear and continue to encourage the reincarnations to take risks. With Xiaoming's strength, although he cannot guarantee that he will never die, he is also qualified to venture into the world of immortal cultivation. There is no rush for this matter, let's talk about it later. Xiaoming quietly put away the prop. Master, what do you think of this thing? I got it with great difficulty when he came to the team space. Kraken came to Xiaoming to offer his treasure first. 2 weeks ago, he and Yujian Guang Hanzao who each took 10 hacker energy blocks from Xiaoming. It seems that it took 2 weeks to sell them. As a result, when Xiaoming saw what he took out, he almost sprayed. It seems that this is not a Predator's spaceship. Kraken enthusiastically introduced the performance of this spaceship. There are space jump devices, weapons and equipment, life support equipment, medical equipment, and so on. Xiaoming was speechless. If I want this thing, can't I just bring one from the world of Guardians of the Galaxy? Of course, the real difference between the spaceship Xiaoming brought and this spaceship is whether it has been reported to the Cosmic Management Agency. Kraken told Xiaoming that on Pangu Star, motor vehicles need to be licensed by the government and inspected every year. The same rules apply in the universe. Spaceships are not driven casually in the universe. Once space teleportation is carried out, they will be regulated by relevant cosmic agencies. No one knows whether your spaceship carries dangerous goods, especially bacteria, viruses, and other things that are carried inadvertently. If you are not careful, it will cause catastrophic consequences on another planet. Therefore, cosmic civilizations attach great importance to such things. Several relatively powerful civilizations have formed a joint management agency, specialized in handling most of the related matters of space travel. Security inspection is also one of them. Why say most? Because the network woven by the blue source energy also has places that cannot be covered. For example, the Yanhuang 3-star system. This agency does not care about the Earth's march to the Yanhuang 3-star system. However, when the new Han Kingdom takes root in the Yanhuang 3-star system, the influence will be large enough. The blue network is likely to spread over, and then it will be under their control. In addition, space travel or space jumps in a very small area. As long as it does not cross two blue network nodes, they will not care. It is considered an internal matter of a node. This Predator spacecraft is probably taken out by an alien reincarnation. Although it is not very valuable, Xiaoming thought about it and decided not to return it. He felt that he needed a formally registered spacecraft with weapons. The last one without weapons was a bit miserable. In fact, at this time, Xiaoming still didn't understand the rules very well. In the universe, the organization that manages the blue network only supervises things on the technological side. If an intelligent creature can survive in space with a physical body and use the blue network. In this case, the energy level of this creature is not low. It is difficult for bacteria and viruses to survive on him. They are actually not supervised by the technological side. Naturally, there are other masters who take care of this matter, but they no longer need that kind of certificate. Kraken's civilization is mainly technological, and has limited knowledge of supernatural powers. Kraken also cannot detect the corresponding managers. In fact, the blue dragon that Xiaoming saw at the beginning was one of the managers of the supernatural side. Xiaoming can lean towards the supernatural side. He knows all the managers, so he really doesn't need a spaceship to go through security checks. Creatures that can meet the conditions for physical space jumps must at least reach A level, and a very small number of gifted B-level creatures may also be able to do it. S level and above are more reliable. Life at this level has long been immune to all poisons. There are no bacteria or viruses on them. If there are, then the virus itself is at least a level virus. At this level, they must be collected for reincarnation space supervision, but there is no need to worry. We know that there are also creatures in space that adapt to the space environment. They are born to survive in the universe in the flesh. However, they cannot use the blue network. There are only two ways to use the blue network. Either develop technology, or develop supernatural power. And the several civilizations at the cosmic level mainly supervise these two aspects. Of course, Xiaoming accepted this Predator spaceship for another reason. That is, Xiaoming forgot to bring one back. When he was driven away by Zhaoang, time was too urgent and he was too busy in all aspects, so he didn't have time to pack up properly. In addition, Xiaoming had a sky carrier that he couldn't take with him, so in a panic, he gave that spaceship to Master Ancient One. What a pity, he didn't get anything good in exchange. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 885. Seeing Xiaoming accept the spaceship that he had worked so hard to get for him, Kraken was very happy. Although he is an alien, he actually does not have much power. Commercial or tourist spacecraft are easy to obtain. Ships that can carry weapons are not so easy to obtain. Even more troublesome is handling various licenses and the like. Fortunately, Xiaoming's status as a reincarnation person helped a lot. The cosmic civilization's management of reincarnators is relatively loose. Because reincarnators have the reincarnation space, their immediate boss, watching over them. Most are relatively stable. Xiaoming's first interstellar passport and visa were obtained by an octopus-shaped alien who specially came to his home to apply for them. It should be easier to follow this level of relationship. Because of these convenient conditions, Kraken successfully helped Xiaoming apply for this armed predator spacecraft. Judging from his life energy, it must have taken a lot of effort. Xiaoming is still very grateful. Kraken was his friend, so Xiaoming did not use telepathy on him. The Predator spacecraft still has an advantage, that is, it is relatively small and can be put into Kunlun, making it easy to carry. There is really no room in Guangmingding. It just so happens that Kunlun has just been expanded and there is still a lot of free space. Xiaoming stuffed the spaceship in casually. Kraken had also built a spherical spaceship for Xiaoming before. That one is for traveling. To be honest, the appearance is not very good looking. My sister Xiao Jing'er and brother Wen didn't pay much attention to it after seeing it. The Predator spacecraft is different. It has a very cool shape, so it looks good when driven out like this. Both of his eyes were a little bright. Xiaoming understood them and gave them a reassuring look in return. Sooner or later we will go for a ride. Of course, there is no need to do this in the real world. We will talk about it later when we encounter a space-type world. Then everyone's eyes naturally focused on Yiji Guanghan Zhao Zhuzhu. Zhao Zhuzhu smiled slightly and said, "Cult leader, I am applying to Grandpa and the others for a very good thing for you, but they said that this energy block is not enough. So let me ask you, are you willing to fill in more items in exchange for this good thing? Just change it to something else." What he said immediately whetted Xiaoming's appetite. Yin Xiaoming quickly pulled Zhao Zhuzhu into his personal space, Huaguo Mountain. Found a deserted cave. Xiaoming put on a greedy face. He rubbed his hands and asked, "Brother, what kind of good thing is this? Can you tell me the truth? The Dragon Clan has always been famous for grabbing treasures." Xiaoming drools just thinking about it. Looking at the flattering smile on his face, Terakushu felt goosebumps all over his body. "Hey, go ahead and stay away from me." Xiaoming, who was not used to this kind of behavior according to Zhuzhu, hurriedly avoided it. What good thing it is, I definitely can't tell you right now. This is the rule of my clan. The 700-year-old little dragon remained tight-lipped. Xiaoming frowned. Then if I change something randomly, what would it be? Anyway, my great-grandfather asked me to tell you some news. Zhao Zhuzhu's smile showed a bit of mystery. Well, I also want to know the news worth 10 energy blocks. Xiaoming was a little numb. I want both of these. What should I do? It's simple. You change the news first. We can discuss the price of that good thing later. According to Zhuzhu, Xiaoming's impression has always been honest, but now he is a bit thief, like a profiteer. Xiaoming was a little unsure. But then I thought about it, the hacker energy block was almost worthless to me. As much as you want. Just change it. Then he said decisively, "Okay. That's it. You can tell your news." Zhao Zhuzhu suddenly became solemn and asked without answering, "Tell me first, leader, did you come into contact with infinite stones in the world you experienced this time?" Holy shit, Xiaoming was shocked. "You know this too?" How did you know?" Zhao Zhuzhu smiled, "Master, please be patient and listen to my arrival. Speaking of ancient times, Pangu created the world. Xiaoming quickly stretched out his hand and made a pause gesture. He smiled bitterly and said, "Brother, stop it first. Your opening statement is similar to that of the Infinity Stones. Is your news some kind of myth or legend?" Terakyushu suddenly showed up and said, "Isn't it strange for a dragon to tell you ancient secrets? If you hadn't come into contact with the infinite stones, I wouldn't be able to tell you this." Seeing the silver dragon body in Zhu, Xiaoming finally realized that he was a little impetuous. In the world of Guardians of the Galaxy, the Song family exchanged news of an infinity stone for a spaceship. Xiaoming knew on the surface that he was not losing money, but subconsciously he still felt that it was a bit uneconomical. "So I am a little sensitive to others exchanging information for things for the time being. In fact, this news only exchanged 10 energy blocks, so there is no need to feel bad. You won't lose anything by exchanging such worthless things." He clearly understands this truth. Besides, Xiaoming often ignores Zhao Zhu's true identity. "That's a dragon. I added several ice heart techniques to myself in a row to calm down." Yin Xiaoming just sat down safely and raised his hand to apologize to Yin Long. "I made my brother laugh, please tell me." Zhao Zhu nodded the dragon head and said slowly, "According to the rules set by the Wanbaikanzan family, even the senior reincarnators of Pangu Star have no right to reveal this news to you. Only after a person has truly come into contact with high-level innate spiritual treasures, such as infinite stones, it is possible to be informed by one of us. Of course, we may also wait." "Us?" Xiaoming's eyes lit up and he asked doubtfully, "You mean your dragon clan is also one of them? But what the hell are the Wanbaikanzan clan?" "That's right. Oh, don't interrupt, just listen to me slowly." Zhao Zhu rolled his eyes at Xiaoming. "Continue the explanation." "The so-called 10,000 families refers to Jianxin Tower, Bei's Hang Cliff, and Wanyun Palace. These names are all disguised and not so exaggerated. In fact, in the language of mythology, these three families are Dragon Palace, and Wanyun Palace. Underworld, and Heaven." Xiaoming cursed in desperation. Unexpectedly, these three families also represent legendary existences such as Dragon Palace, Underworld, and Heaven. Xiaoming is still familiar with the Dragon Clan due to its relationship with Zhu. In the Underworld, he has only seen one Heva chain. In the Heaven, he has never heard of or seen it. Xiaoming has never heard of Beizanja and Wanyundian. But Jianxin Tower is like thunder. Isn't Qingxinglu the manager of the reincarnation space? So, the Dragon Palace and the Dragon Clan are the managers of the reincarnation space? This revelation is a bit fierce and very incredible. Xiaoming gave Zhao Zhu a strange look, meaning, "I don't study well, so don't lie to me." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 886. Xiaoming was a little confused when he suddenly heard such shocking news. It feels like the style of this world has changed. If the Dragon Palace is the Jianxin Tower, then the Samsara space is the territory of the Dragon Clan. Yijian Guanghan Zhao Zhu should do better, right? But based on past experience, although Terakyushu has some privileges in the reincarnation space, they are obviously not as high as his own privilege level. It doesn't sound very believable. Now was not the time to be tactful. Xiaoming expressed his doubts directly, but he very stupidly did not mention the words Golden VIP. "I plan to test Terakyushu. Leader, why do you think I, as a Dragon Royal family, joined your team so early?" Zhao Zhu asked with a wry smile. "Why, could it be?" Xiaoming was a little confused. "That's right, it's because they know that you have a very unique identity in the reincarnation space. That's why the elders arranged for me to be by your side. You became a reincarnator on June 13th, and Kraken and I joined your team on June 15th. Isn't this clear enough? Xiaoming looked up at the sky and carefully recalled the situation at that time. I remember, the one who issued the temporary team invitation was Kraken. Yes, wouldn't it be too obvious if I were the one to send the invitation? To you, Kraken is an alien that looks like an octopus. Have you never thought about the connection between the sea tribe and the dragon tribe? Nanny, Xiaoming was shocked again. Don't get me wrong. Kraken's civilization is not a subsidiary civilization of the dragon clan. It's just that the dragon clan generally has a favorable impression of civilizations established by marine life. The relationship between the two parties is good. After hearing what Zhu said, Xiaoming felt that it was not so scary. Not wanting to follow Zhu, he continued. We are relatively strong in this area of Pangu Star. It is easy to secretly exert influence and get a technologically advanced sea tribe to join the reincarnation space and do what we want to see. Xiaoming was speechless. At first Xiaoming thought that Kraken and Zhao Zhu were equal existences. That doesn't seem to be the case now. Probably even Kraken thought so. The only one who truly understands everything is the dragon Zhao Zhu. After a while, Xiaoming asked, so you have spent so much effort just to arrange you to be with me? But it has only been 2 months since then. Tell me now, is it really okay? Humph, you still said, Zhao Zhu said unhappily, the elders never expected that you would improve so quickly. Now it's time to stop holding back. Can't cover it? Yin Xiaoming raised his eyebrows to express confusion. According to Zhu, Xiaoming would definitely not be able to guess such a plot. What can't be covered up? Tarakushu sighed again. Oh, so I have to speak slowly. Don't interrupt me yet. Here's the thing. I just said that you are only qualified to know these secrets. There is no need for Wanbaki and Zanjia to tell you right away. However, but, we know that both the underworld and heaven are interested in recruiting you as a civil servant. What? Xiaoming was surprised again unconsciously, interrupting Yinlong's words. Then I saw Tarakushu raising his dragon finger and making a silent expression. He quickly covered his mouth. Listen quietly. The Wanbakian family is actually a force composed of extraordinary beings. It is similar to the force on your Pangu planet. It's just that they control bigger things. Xiaoming rolled his eyes and said to himself, if you call controlling the reincarnation space and the underworld bigger things, I have nothing to say. Just listen to Zhao Zhu who continue to say, so the three families also need to constantly absorb new blood. However, the way our dragon clan expands its establishment is usually to have children. The underworld and heaven recruit talents from all races. Let me emphasize that the dragon clan does not discriminate against other races, it is just that our race is large enough. Your achievements in the reincarnation space are too outstanding. Those people on Pangu don't know, how can we not know? If I don't tell you now, people from the other two families will find you soon. If only you knew these secrets from them. I'm more embarrassed. So, please be lenient if you confess. Having said this, Zhao Zhu spread his hands towards Xiaoming and showed a wry smile. It seems to have come to an end for now. Xiaoming waved his hand first, saying it didn't matter. Then he added, the amount of information is too much, please let me sort it out. Of course it doesn't matter. He is from the Dragon Clan, the Thousand Star Tower, the controller of the reincarnation space. Being willing to say this is already giving Xiaoming face. Besides, this kind of thing is actually not a bad thing. The other party just concealed his identity. Are there still few people around Xiaoming who conceal their identities and investigate him? Has he done too many things to hide his identity? And Zhao Zhu has never done anything to harm Xiaoming. Even gave a lot of help. The egg that hatched the little boy was given by the Dragon Clan, and the sixth form of the Navy also came from the Dragon Clan. Xiaoming is actually the one who takes advantage. Nothing to complain about. But the news is too scary. Xiaoming needs to think carefully. Knowing that there is an underworld and a heaven is nothing. But it's incredible that they want to recruit Xiaoming as a civil servant. Brother, it's not that I don't believe you. Let me confirm again, is what you just said really true? Absolutely true. Well, brother, do you think I should choose Bei's Hangcliffe or Wanyun Palace? Xiaoming asked, hoping that Zhao Zhuzhu could educate him about the underworld and heaven. You big pig's hoof, aren't you willing to join Qingxinglu? Zhao Zhuzhu said unexpectedly. Ah, Xiaoming was stunned, didn't you say that there are many dragons in your clan? Oh no, there are many dragons. Long Duo can also recruit foreign aid. Besides, these three jobs don't actually conflict. It doesn't matter if you work part-time in all three. I believe you can do it. After a pause, Zhao Zhuzhu continued, there are some inside stories that I can't tell you right now. In fact, the three companies' testing of you is already in progress. As long as you complete the test, you will receive an invitation. At that time you can choose to formally accept or decline. After accepting it, you will slowly understand everything. The test? Is it already going on? You guys are really rude. Xiaoming smiled bitterly and shook his head again. Forget it, tell me this now. Will the other two families stop sending people to repeat it to me? Tarakushu nodded. Xiaoming suddenly remembered something again and asked. Your dragon palace does not manage the world, but the space of reincarnation. The underworld and heaven are probably different from what I understood before, right? Zhao Zhuzhu smiled but said nothing. Xiaoming was speechless. I hope Greater China can overcome the epidemic as soon as possible. I have the highest respect for all those working in all walks of life who are working hard and taking risks for this purpose. They are all true heroes. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 887. Xiaoming was in a trance and forgot everything that happened next. He should have asked what kind of good things the dragons wanted to exchange with him. How much would they cost? As a result, Xiaoming was shocked by the news he just learned, and he stayed in the nameless cave in deep thought. Zhao Zhuzhu stayed with him for a while, intending to wait for him to react and tell him. But later, seeing that he was thinking about something and didn't come back to his senses for a long time, he left first. In fact, hearing that the three major forces of heaven, hell, and dragon palace exist is not a big deal. The cognitive level of modern society, although these myths and legends are not believed, cannot be 100% confirmed that they do not exist. Whether they exist or not does not interfere with the lives of ordinary people. So for most people, these three major forces are meaningless. Even if you swear to tell them that there is really a hell, there is really reincarnation, and you should be a good person in this life, they will still not care as much as before. Most of them will laugh at you as a fool. If Xiaoming had not been recruited by these three companies, he would not have cared too much. With such a big power, he is just an ant compared to them. On the contrary, there is no question of how to deal with it. Before Xiaoming became a superhuman, the situation was similar when facing those powerful people. For an ordinary poor person, there is almost no difference between God and Buddha and rich and powerful people. If they sneeze, they can kill themselves, and it doesn't matter whether you offend them or please them. Who knows what kind of temper these guys have? If you offend them, they may think you have backbone. If you please them, they may dislike you for having no character. No matter what you do, you may be appreciated, but of course you may also be picky and nitpicking. So just do what you should do. Just like the wisdom of thousands of years of China tells us, do good things without asking about the future. There is no use thinking too much. Xiaoming's current situation is a bit special. Because these three companies took the initiative to come to the door. According to Zhao Zhizhu, the three companies' tests of Xiaoming are already underway. However, Xiaoming could only keep the same in the face of change. He didn't even know the question of the test, and he couldn't answer it. Maybe this is the true meaning of this test. It is to test a person's heart. Xiaoming thought about it and decided to put it aside for now. He applied the ice heart technique to himself again. Xiaoming realized that there was still ambiguity in Zhao Zhizhu's words. He did show the strength of the Dragon Palace. Xiaoming also believed that Zhao Zhizhu and Kraken joined his team deliberately. However, Zhao Zhizhu did not really point out his identity as a golden VIP. There is a possibility that he didn't know it accurately enough. Maybe he only knew that he had a special identity in the reincarnation space, but he didn't know that he was a golden VIP. And again, if Qingxinglu completely controlled the reincarnation space, then they would just strengthen themselves to the top. There is no need to enter one mission world after another. Xiaoming's intuition told him that the situation of Qingxinglu was very similar to that of the nine-tailed fox. The nine-tailed fox can call on the source energy of Fuxican, but it must be used according to the rules of Fuxican and cannot be diverted to itself. Therefore, the nine-tailed fox had to cooperate with the New Han Kingdom to develop the Magic Planet game. Let many people play this game, get the Fuxichin reward, and become extraordinary. And the extraordinary game players will use supernatural energy in the game, but these energies can be used by the nine-tailed fox. It feels like taking kickbacks. So Xiaoming thinks that the reincarnation space is also based on source energy. It is possible that just like the Fuxichin, the Dragon Clan just used source energy to create the reincarnation space. Even, maybe the reincarnation space was not created by the Dragon Clan, but passed on to the Dragon Clan by the previous manager. Of course, the Dragon Clan should not be underestimated. Think about the Azure Dragon I saw before, that planet-level body. It is definitely not an existence that can be provoked. This is just a dragon. Since Zhizhu said that after passing the test, I will understand some of the specific situations of the Wanbaki and Sanjia. I can still choose freely at that time. There is no need to overthink now. There must be a way when the car reaches the mountain. Xiaoming made up his mind to do nothing and keep everything as it was, and his mind became much clearer. He wanted to ask Zhao Zhizhu what the good things the Dragon Clan said were. However, Xiaoming searched the flower and fruit mountain but could not find the little silver dragon. And Xiaoming found that not only Zhao Zhizhu was not there, but his sister, brother Wen, and Kraken had also left. Only his subordinates and Xiao Xiao were still there. Several people surrounded Xiao Lu's wooden clone and played the game Plants vs. Zombies Xiao Lu version. Seeing Xiaoming coming, Kang Ma took the initiative to report to Xiaoming. Xiao Jing'er had an appointment with the sisters in the dormitory. There was an activity in the middle of the night. Li Qingzhao, the sixth lady of the Li family who shared the dormitory with her, made an appointment with her, and she didn't know what she was going to do. She didn't say clearly about the things between girls. On Zhang Wen's side, his business partner in Tokyo invited him to meet some new friends. The call of the reincarnation space interrupted their gathering, and now they had to go back and continue the business. Xiaoming had performed surgery on Zhang Wen before, and a lot of prop mushrooms were installed in his stomach and intestines. Now he can drink and eat meat without any problems. He has been having a bit of fun recently. But the timing of the two gatherings was so coincidental that Xiaoming had to be suspicious. The other party might just want to see the changes in Xiao Jing'er and Zhang Wen before and after a reincarnation mission. And use this to evaluate Mingjing's team and even Zhang Xiaoming to some extent. This is understandable, but it is a waste of effort. You must know that Xiaoming was not with them in this mission world. Instead, he teamed up with Tan Guangwen and others. This time they couldn't get meaningful data. As for Kraken and Terakushu, it's not Kurama's turn to worry about. Even if they leave, they won't tell him. Xiaoming was actually anxious to offer the treasure. 2 natural devil fruits that can evolve completely. The fruit of the 3 great admirals of the Navy. My sister has already eaten the incomplete version of the Huahua fruit, and most likely won't be able to eat the second fruit. But Zhongwen definitely can. Xiaoming still thought, we 2 brothers are so good. After eating the fruit together, we cosplayed with Akainu and Aokiji. I didn't miss him but ran away, feeling a bit empty. Just when Xiaoming was thinking about whether he should strengthen one to eat first, Kurama reminded him of something. Lord, we should hurry up and travel around the world. I'm worried that Fei Ying won't have the patience to wait for us and will go to find Shuijin Quanzhou by himself. Kurama didn't say the next words. Xiaoming understood what he meant. Hai is no longer the A-level big monster he was back then. What dangers will you encounter if you don't protect everything? You really should go back and take a look. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 888. Xiaoming quickly brought his subordinates back to the real world and immediately entered the private world. According to the last location, the Insect King Green Xiaoming appeared in the insect nest of the demon world. Silver Xiaoming and Huang Xiaoming appeared together somewhere in Japan in the human world. As expected by Kurama, Fei Ying had disappeared long ago and didn't wait for them at all. Xiaoming quickly used telepathy to search for Fei Ying. Fortunately, Kurama had marked Fei Ying before, and Xiaoming found him quickly. At this moment, Fei Ying was in the big villa of Tsurugai Kenzo, but he was lying on the ground, dying. In the world of Yu Yu Hakusho, rich people can completely hire psychics or even monsters to be their bodyguards. Fei Ying's current strength of about sea level can still take advantage of ordinary monsters and psychics. But Tsurugai Kenzo is one of the famous rich men in Japan. He can hire very powerful bodyguards. At this time, the one who accepted his employment as his bodyguard was the Dark Broker organization with a great reputation in the dark world. Most of the members of the organization are monsters. Fei Ying's actions were very careful, and he killed many monsters of the Dark Broker. But in the end, he fell at the feet of Big Boss. The Toguro brothers, 2 B-level monsters, are very powerful. Of course, Xiaoming doesn't take this level seriously. Fei Ying and Kurama were both A-level monsters. If they recover their strength, they are not afraid of this B-level guy. I guess Fei Ying is regretting now, why didn't he wait a few more days? Even if he recovers to B-level, he can still fight. Now he is dead. In telepathy, I only feel that the other party is aggressive. Xiaoming is very worried about Fei Ying, so Yan Xiaoming teleported to Fei Ying. He didn't even wear Kurama. A person suddenly appeared next to him, and the Toguro brothers were also startled. This is too weird. However, Toguro brother was calm in the face of danger, and punched over cleanly and neatly. Who knows that although he is fast, Xiaoming is faster. The Navy's 6 styles was already very proficient. A storm kick was kicked out naturally, and before the fist hit him, the strong wind of the storm kick kicked Toguro's body. Swoosh bang! Crash! Toguro's body slammed against the wall. The whole person was deeply trapped. Blood spurted out of his mouth, and a deep wound was also opened on his chest, breaking bones and tendons. This sudden change shocked everyone present. Xiaoming ignored others and quickly cast a few healing spells on Fei Ying, and his injuries were relieved a lot. Fortunately, he arrived in time. At the same time, Huang Xiaoming disappeared and brought Kurama over. Looking around, Xiaoming found that this was actually a circular closed arena. There was also a viewing room on the second floor of the side wall. Under the viewing room, there were 5 electronic screens. It seemed to be connected to 5 people in real time, and I don't know why. Are you watching the fight? There was a short, ugly, and bruised guy in the viewing room. Xiaoming knew that this person was Kenzo Tsugane. At this moment, he was so frightened that he was stunned and completely at a loss. Behind him, stood several of his subordinates, a secretary, and several thugs. They were just ordinary people. In addition, there was a very beautiful female monster. She was held by two thugs. Suddenly, Yin Xiaoming's trouser legs were caught by Fei Ying. He pointed at the beautiful monster and said intermittently, "That's Sui Ke, save, save." Xiaoming understood immediately and immediately comforted, "Don't worry, save her immediately." The next second, there were 5 more shadow clones in the viewing room, and all of Tsugane's men fell unconscious. The restraints and seals on Sui Ke were also instantly released. Xiaoming naturally did not let Kenzo Tsugane go, and dragged him into the world of Tsukuyomi, interrogating the whole story. The matter was not complicated. A few years ago, this scum occasionally caught Sui Ke. He knew that the tears of the snow girl would turn into ice tear stones. He immediately put Sui Ke under house arrest and tortured her from time to time. For no other reason, just to make her cry. After getting the ice tear stone, he auctioned it. So in a very short time, Tsurukan Gonzo went from being an ordinary rich man to one of the richest men in Japan. He also knew that he had done a lot of bad things. Now that he was rich, he hired the Dark Brokers organization to be his bodyguards. Fei Ying really hit a wall this time. The other little monsters were not Fei Ying's opponents and all died under his fast sword. But he really couldn't beat the Toguro brothers. If Xiaoming had come a step later, he would probably have been completely finished. So what about the 5 people on the screen? Simply put, they have too much money to burn and are full. These people are from a group called BBC. A group of people with a lot of money and nothing to do. Their usual fun is gambling. This time, Tsurukan invited them to use the battle between Fei Ying and the Dark Broker as a bet. Want to make a fortune from them? Xiaoming casually asked about Chui Jing Quanzhou's past, and he knew that this person really did all kinds of bad things. It's not too much to cut him into pieces. However, it's better for Fei Ying to punish him. Xiaoming knocked him out. Fei Ying in the ring below, seeing his sister rescued, couldn't hold on any longer and fainted. But his injuries are not serious, and he will probably be alive and kicking tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I'm Zhou, may I ask your name? Why do you want to ruin my good deeds? Among the 5 screens, the other 4 people saw the sudden change and cut off the connection. Only one handsome young man was still there. He also asked this question. The Toguro brothers trapped in the wall have also escaped. After interrogating Terry Gain, Xiaoming already knows the names of these 2. Toguro was seriously injured just now, but he recovered in the blink of an eye. He is quite capable. Toguro, who had been lying on his shoulders underground, did not have time to turn into a shield to defend against the storm kick, but turned into a cushion in time to cushion his brother. Therefore, Toguro's injury was not that serious, but the impact was too great at that time. Toguro's brain is still groggy now. Although the kick just now was powerful, Toguro did not think that Xiaoming was stronger than him. Xiaoming's strong attacking moves are one of the spiritual systems Tsukuyomi and the other is the sword control technique. His fist and kick moves are indeed not strong, only at the B level. So in Toguro's eyes, it is about the same as 80% of his own state. Naturally, he is not afraid at all, and even a little eager to try. Through the screen, Xiaoming couldn't see Sakyo's life energy, nor could he use Tsukuyomi, and couldn't tell whether he was good or evil. Looking at the Toguro brothers again, they were not guilty of much. Especially Toguro's younger brother, his merits still outweigh his sins. Xiaoming was still thinking about the devil fruit, so he didn't have time to deal with them. Without saying a word, he took everyone away. Sakyo and Toguro's younger brother were left staring at each other. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 889. Why did Xiaoming run away in such a hurry? On the surface, they want to take Hyakujukan and other monsters away from the place of right and wrong. More importantly, brothers Sakyo and Toguro make Xiaoming very uncomfortable. Looking at them, Xiaoming doesn't feel like a good person, but Xiaoming can't see Sakyo's life energy, and the aura of brother Toguro is not the most sinful one. According to Xiaoming's own principles, he can't deal with them yet. Xiaoming dislikes the situation the most. It's like encountering flies and cockroaches. In fact, flies and cockroaches are no longer annoying in Xiaoming's eyes. The only thing that can arouse his disgust is intelligent life. In fact, there are many people who Xiaoming cannot take action. Whether in the real world, the reincarnation world, or the private world, there are many. But those are all ordinary people. Contact with them will not arouse Xiaoming's resentment. It feels completely different from these people. Xiaoming felt that Zhou Jing was not a good person after participating in such a bet. But there simply aren't too many people in the world who are rich and heartless. Does Xiaoming still have to work hard to trace the past one by one? As a senior otaku, he would not find something to do for himself. But just as he was leaving, he suddenly had a sudden impulse. So only Yin Xiaoming on the surface took all the monsters away, while Huang Xiaoming, who was invisible in the dark, did not move. It was not that he wanted to stay and observe the subsequent developments, but something deep in his soul stirred. He stopped to look. Toguro, you seem to have been beaten badly, Sakyo, who was in the corner of the screen, suddenly said a joke. Huang Xiaoming was stunned. He felt a little weird when he saw Toyolu's position just now. Now I finally understand where the blame lies. Previously, Toguro was standing on the side of Sakyo's screen, and he felt like he was Sakyo's subordinate. Xiaoming thought it was a misunderstanding at the time. It turns out they really know each other. Humph, cough, 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 you bastard of a war, you know nothing. We don't. Hearing that Sakyo questioned the fighting ability of his two brothers, brother Toguro immediately perked up and refuted his boss with great disdain. But halfway through his words, he was overcome by his younger brother's demonic aura. This person is quite powerful and unfathomable, Toguro thought for a moment and said. With that kick just now, I have to use 80% of my strength. If I go all out, I may not be my opponent. It's interesting. At this point, he and Sakyo actually looked at each other and smiled. There seems to be something tacitly understood. Brother Toyolu had a question mark face. At this time, Huang Xiaoming felt it more clearly. What was stirring just now was the soul weapon, the sword that rewards good and punishes evil. With a thought, 3 swords for rewarding good and punishing evil appeared out of thin air, and they were also invisible. Then 3 swords stabbed at the 3 of them respectively, and even Sakyo, who didn't know where he was now, was hit. Huang Xiaoming watched as 3 swords sank into the heads of 3 people. Could it be that Xiaoming thought that he couldn't do anything about Zhou Jing's thoughts, which caused dissatisfaction with the sword that rewards good and punishes evil? Xiaoming's sword rewards good and punishes evil, and rewards good deeds almost immediately, but punishes evil only in the dead of night, allowing the evildoers to taste their evil deeds. At this time, neither Sakyo nor brother Wataguro showed any reaction. Xiaoming is also not sure whether the sword of rewarding good and punishing evil has taken effect, or whether he has given up on them. What can be confirmed is that Sakyo, a person who was not at the scene, was actually taken care of by the sword of rewarding good and punishing evil. This is something Xiaoming didn't expect. This is fun. Suddenly, Toyolu's tiger body trembled, and the demonic aura on his body began to rise steadily. The muscles in my body are getting stronger and stronger, they are puffing up like a balloon. Toguro Nii could no longer stay with his younger brother, so he quickly jumped to the side and watched the changes in his younger brother with Sakyo in surprise. He muttered to himself, 60%, 70%, 100%. Brother, are you okay? 120%. Nanny. Just seeing him surprised, Xiaoming used telepathy on him. I learned that the monster Toguro doesn't have any special skills, he just can control his own muscles. When the muscle fullness reaches 80%, it is his most normal state. If it's 100%, it won't last long. As for the 120% state, Toguro Ludi will have extremely strong combat effectiveness. But after persisting for a while, the muscles of the whole body will collapse and die. Now Toguro Ludi has reached 120% of his previous state, and he is still as normal as a normal person. It's as easy as just 80%. This form has reached the peak of B-level monsters, and it seems possible to reach A level once he exerts his full strength. Brother Toyolu's demon quality is not very good, but he is still good to his younger brother. When his younger brother's strength improved, he was very happy and his eyes were shining. Xiaoming frowned, wasn't he mistaken? This was not Xiaoming's original intention. It's okay if good and evil go unpunished. The first time you see a monster, you will be rewarded with a sword that rewards good and punishes evil. In order to prevent those who were rewarded for good deeds from becoming bad later, Xiaoming set the rewards of the sword of rewarding good and punishing evil to be relatively watery. Good people are only rewarded with health and longevity. They won't be given superpowers or anything like that. Nor will they give money to prevent them from becoming bad. By some strange coincidence, Toguro Ludi turned out to be a monster who could control muscles. Both health and lifespan can be converted into combat effectiveness. Of course, even Toguro is promoted from a B-level high-ranking yokai to an A-level yokai. It is not a threat to Xiaoming. It's just that this thing is more interesting. Toguro Ludi seemed to have stabilized his condition and slowly retracted his muscles. He said to Sakyo, I feel more confident now. I will go to the demon realm to make arrangements now. However, Toguro Ludi frowned deeply and asked, are you confident that you can find that person just now? Sakyo smiled confidently, don't worry, although I don't have the special abilities of monsters, I also have the most powerful superpower in the world, money. It's just a small thing to find someone. You've always been so confident, so I'll leave it to you. Brother, let's go. As Huang Xiaoming watched, Sakyo disappeared from the screen, and the Toguro brothers walked away arm in arm. Cui Jing Quanzhao was dead, but it happened too quickly. There are hundreds of servants and bodyguards in this villa. They are still living according to the usual order, unaware that the sky here has fallen. At this time, Catwoman Nephibit jumped out of Kunlun. Meow, King, do you want to use my ability? Meow, let's make this a good base for us in the human world, meow. Xiaoming's eyes lit up. Catwoman, an inconspicuous person, actually came up with a good idea. This place is built in the deep mountains and old forests, and is surrounded by land rich in wealth and power. Very few outsiders know about this secret base, which is perfect for one's own use. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 890. Neferpitou has many very powerful mind abilities. After reincarnating as a bug human, these abilities are still retained. Now let's talk about two of them. Toy Repairer, the Mind Beast is a huge humanoid doll that can be used to repair damaged tissues and organs, prevent corpses from rotting, and transform organ functions and appearances. Puppet Master, it can manipulate corpses. All actions can be done as if they were normal people. With these two abilities, when the Chimera ants rose, they could easily control the situation in the East Godu Republic. This time, Neferpitou wants to repeat the old trick and manipulate the body of Kenzo Tshugana to help Xiaoming control this place. The only problem is that Kenzo Tshugana is still alive, and it is necessary to wait until Fei Ying deals with him. For the time being, Xiaoming can use shadow clones and transformation techniques to replace one or two. Even because of Xiaoming's newly developed copycat ability, he can fully grasp Tshugana's memory. However, Xiaoming really has no interest in the memory of this scumbag. He will feel that his eyes and brain are dirty after reading it once. It is indeed quite appropriate to use this place as a base for the insect people in the human world. Silver Xiaoming decided to stay and deal with this matter. At the same time, Green Xiaoming was smoking in the territory of the insect people in the demon world. Don't get me wrong, he is not an old smoker, he is just creating the insect fog. The fog is the home territory of the insect people and the insect people. Before, Xiaoming has created fog a lot, and now he is just continuing to do it. By the way, think about the two natural devil fruits. This thing is a magic weapon for creating masters. Especially for people like Xiaoming who are not very talented in combat, the natural devil fruit will be of great help to him. As for the shortcomings of being afraid of sea water and sea stone, it is actually not a big problem. After all, with such a strong power, some corresponding costs are normal. A truly top genius will not choose to use a devil fruit, even a complete natural fruit is not worth it. But such a brilliant person is rarer than a rare bird. There may not be many such people in an era. Didn't even Xiang Mo, the great-great-grandson of the Chu royal family, use the devil fruit? Xiaoming is now thinking about how to divide it. The previous plan was to give one to himself and brother Wen. Two brothers of ice and fire. The frozen fruit is obviously easier to control than the magma fruit, and it may be more suitable for brother Wen. Just keep the magma fruit to himself. But now thinking carefully, Xiaoming feels more and more inappropriate. Xiaoming's acquisition of 70% of the devil fruit from the two Zhao royal families is probably not hidden from the major families. At least the 12 Kings family can't hide it. Those major forces related to it, such as the Li family, will soon get the news. As expected, they will keep a close eye on Xiaoming. As a result, within 2 days, Zhang Wen, a complete frozen fruit ability user, appeared. Then people knew there was something fishy at a glance. Once they think Xiaoming has the ability to turn a 70% complete devil fruit into 100%. I'm afraid it will exceed the psychological bottom line of any force. This does not need to be confirmed, as long as there is suspicion, it is enough for them to fight. By then, Xiaoming will have no peace. Of course, the three major forces of Wanbakian are excluded. Xiaoming does not think that the underworld, heaven, and dragon palace will take devil fruits very seriously. Especially the dragon clan, they should have no love for devil fruits. I remember Zhao Zhuz who said that he now lives in the ocean of Europa. Unless he has lived enough and wants to commit suicide, he will not eat a devil fruit for free. This is different from the incomplete flower fruit used by Xiao Jing or sister before. After being strengthened by Xiaoming, the completeness of that fruit is less than 50%. Most forces can do it to this level. It would be strange if they can't do it with the force behind Xiaoming. The method is also very simple, that is, to obtain the same kind of devil fruit from the reincarnation space, and superimpose each other to become a devil fruit with higher completeness. If this method does not exist, natural devil fruits below 50% are estimated to become cabbage prices. It is precisely because they can be superimposed that they can have some value. I believe everyone can guess that this kind of superposition is by no means as simple as 10% add 10% equal 20%. It is definitely more difficult when the concentration is higher. Even a force like the Xiang family of Zishu only stacked up one Shasha fruit. In fact, Xiao Xiangmo's Shasha fruit was about 97%, not fully stacked, it's just that Xiaoming didn't know it. It is said that chasha fruit is a relatively inferior existence among natural fruits. From this, we can probably judge the value of the fruit. What if you can't stack the desired fruit in a short time? There is another way, that is to eat more. Eating the same fruit repeatedly can also have a stacking effect. This does not include those natural fruits with greater damage. The disadvantage of this method is that the consumption to achieve 100% in the end is greater. The advantage is that part of the fruit can be converted into combat power as soon as possible. Only large forces can successfully stack 100% of the devil fruit. Ordinary small and medium-sized forces, and even some large forces, can't wait. For them, converting the devil fruit into combat power as soon as possible is the kingly way. When Xiao Ming was fighting for this devil fruit, he was very active. At that time, he felt that his determination was very firm, but now he began to back down. At that time, I was blinded by the interests and didn't think about the cause and effect. Now that I was interrupted by the things in the private world, Xiao Ming had time to think and immediately found the problem. Fortunately, my situation is special and I don't need to worry too much. If it were someone else, they would probably be in a dilemma. But Xiao Ming handled it very simply. After strengthening these two fruits, give them to his loyal subordinates to eat, isn't it over? Other reincarnations find it difficult to get subordinates with such high loyalty, but Xiao Ming can get a lot of them. Every insect human is trustworthy. Although the devil fruit is a fun thing. Is it really difficult to get it? You're kidding. Even if Xiao Ming is self-deprecating, he doesn't think he will be so miserable. Who should I give it to? Zhangzhong and Neferpatu? Feiying and Karama? There are so many choices. In the end, the ones who ate the frozen fruit and the magma fruit were the female ghosts Xiaohong and the tree demon Xiaolu, who followed Xiao Ming the earliest. She had limited talent for 2 days, and her progress in cultivating immortals was slow. Since they are not fighters, their combat power is actually average. Later, it was because of the Plants vs. Zombies system that Xiaolu's combat power was improved. But Xiaohong was still lacking and could not go to many battlefields. They followed their old subordinates, and they could not be treated unfairly. So, Xiaohong ate the frozen fruit and Xiaolu ate the magma fruit.